Another part of the governor's plan would eliminate or reduce Louisiana's popular film tax credits. Governor Jeff Landry wants to end the program to help offset his proposed tax cuts. Some lawmakers have proposed ways to keep the incentives by implementing a lower cap or replacing the credits with direct grants. Here's a look at the debate and what's at stake for Louisiana's film industry.
The 2023 Disney movie Haunted Mansion was filmed in New Orleans, starring the Garden District and several French Quarter locales. It's one of the latest in a long list of film and TV credits dating back more than a century, when cameras rolled on the first movie set in Louisiana, Tarzan of the Apes, filmed in 1917 in Morgan City. To date, Louisiana has set the scene for more than 3,000 film projects. These were talking points made in a recent legislative committee meeting discussing the fate of the Louisiana Motion Picture Investor Tax Credit.
In 2002, Steve Scalise and Cedric Richmond, a bipartisan effort, put together a credit program to allow for productions to stay within the United States and try to get them to come to the state of Louisiana.
Louisiana was one of the first states to create a film tax credit program, which is now up for debate as lawmakers decide whether to nix the 20-plus year program. Some see the film industry as an ambassador to Louisiana and a boost to tourism.
The movie industry doesn't just provide jobs, but gets our brand out, and that leads to people coming to it's essentially advertising on a giant silver screen.
The film tax credit is part of a large packet of tax credits, incentives, and rebates targeted for elimination June 30th of 2025. The film industry supports tax reform, but warns not to throw the proverbial baby out with the bathwater because the program is a proven economic driver.
It's $180 million of a credit that needs to be certified over 2 years, as I mentioned to you, and that actually equates to $360 million in Louisiana local payroll. And if you look at it, $60 million in sales comes right on top of that. So you're giving $180 million to Louisiana residents, and you're getting a massive economic impact. That's a 6-to-1 benefit to the state of Louisiana.
Again, I think that maybe 10,000 jobs in Louisiana are dependent upon the industry's success here.
The proposed elimination of the film tax credit comes less than a year after lawmakers voted to extend it through 2031 under the previous administration of then-Governor John Bel Edwards. Some argue this is bad optics for business development.
What do you think happens to the industry if the credit goes away?
Well, look, just like any industry, we want stability and predictability. And obviously, if you make any major change to an industry, we know that there is going to be course correction, there's going to be default, and we feel that some of that will come with this if we don't see this credit continuing.
What's being proposed is to entirely rip the Band-Aid off.
I think that we all would support things like lowering the corporate income tax, which is ridiculously high in Louisiana. I think we all would support, lowering personal income tax to make it more attractive here. And they're thinking that by pulling away some of these incentives that they're just going to kind of rip off the Band-Aid. But the truth is, with something like this, an industry that's kind of like based around incentives when there's so much competition out there, it's almost like you're ripping the heart out of the industry.
The timing of the film tax credit sunset comes as Louisiana's production industry builds momentum, with 18 higher education institutions offering digital media and production training. And the Louisiana Academy of Production Charter School set to begin training high school students from underserved backgrounds for production jobs.
We're talking, 9th graders through 12th graders learning skills that they'll be able to get a job right out of high school. Again, sometimes this could be transformative wealth for some of these kids. I mean, we're talking, $60,000 jobs like at 18, 19 years old.
Advocates of the film tax credits argue the program delivers results and that there are win-win ways to modify the program, such as making film tax credits applicable to severance tax liability, thereby encouraging more drilling and more film and TV production.
The film program delivers a lot of the results that I think tax reform that we're all looking for.
Lights, camera, action, and economic development. Will lawmakers rewrite the script for Louisiana's film industry, killing off the program or keeping it in another form? That's the plot point as House Bills number 1 and 2 make their way through the legislative process.